Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawnbusters Taste Challenge. Well, it's not really on yet. Daylight saving time, you know how that works. But anyway, it says the clock says 5:49 a.m. Central Time, but it's 4:49 a.m. Central Time. Here's McCormick, imported naturally, Scotch blended Scotch whiskey, aged 3 years, 40% alcohol, imported and bottled by McCormick Distilling Company, Western Missouri, established 1856. Don't think they've been producing, not producing. I don't think they've been selling a Scotch that long. Looks like a yellow picnic tablecloth with a Irish bag. I'm sorry, Scottish Irish. Ooh, scary. Scottish bagpiper. All right. Olive green, yellow, gold, white, and red. All right. I think this is discontinued, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's no website listing anymore. There used to be a listing of it on their website. They would show all their products, or at least all the ones they chose to show, and they used to talk about it. Now it's been scrubbed off the website. Second clue: my friend David gave me this bottle, and he bought a bunch of them. He got this liter bottle in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, for $4.99. Now, that is definitely not the normal price. So, still, it's not expensive. Usually you find it about $18 for a liter, but $4.99 glass bottle, crazy. Now, I did see plastic bottles also over at that store. I had no interest in plastic if I can get glass, but why they would make two types, I don't know, of the same thing, but they do, and or did. I've seen Johnny Walker Red Label handles in plastic for some reason. Now here's a real handle. And this is why these big bottles are called handles, because many of them have an actual handle. And you at least have a gripper on the back where you can grip it, but the handle is best because less chance of dropping it. Both clear glass bottles. This is the famous Dewar's blended Scotch whiskey, the white label, quote unquote. The nickname is the white label. True Scotch, well, as opposed to fake Scotch. Double aged. Introduced in 1899. Now, the company was founded in 1846, but 1899 they came out with this their most famous rendition. Supposedly, it's the best-selling blended Scotch whiskey brand in the United States. Now, there's the 3Ds interlocked. John Dewar and his two sons. 3Ds. His two sons were the ones that really got the company big. He started it, but his two sons got it going. It's embossed on the side. It says, John Dewar and Sons on both sides. They sold out to another family called the Bacardi family. Don't know when. I could find out. But yeah, it's a Bacardi brand these days. Bacardi Limited. And they have distilleries in Scotland and that kind of thing. Got a beautiful twist cap. If I can get it untwisted. Aluminum. Built-in pourer makes it flow better. You got to watch it because it'll come out really fast. Because it's designed to prevent, it from going chug-a-lug with the airflow thing. So it got to watch these special pours because it'll really roll out. I got this for $31.99, which is a good deal this day and age, honestly. I don't think you'll get this big bottle for that price now. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Like I said, McCormick, I didn't pay for it. It was given to me. Thank you, David. Good gift. And he not admitted, that's like if you stole something, you say, okay, I stole it. He agreed, or he thought, and I agreed with him, that it was a much better product than you would expect. Because when he bought it, he was thinking, man, this stuff this stuff's going to be questionable. And he was really pleased with it, and I am too. Okay, the Dewar's is darker. It's a little more amber. This one is pale straw. I don't think they're adding any coloring to it. It's so pale. They might be adding a little caramel coloring, but it seems pretty light. I know it's aged 3 years because it says it on the bottle. Dewar's, no age statement. But the website says it's from 1899. Now, you can check it out. Dewar's White Label. Double aged for extra seasons. They age the whiskeys, the single malts, however many they use, the grain whiskeys. Then they blend them together at whatever ratio they choose, which they don't disclose. Then they age it again. So they age the whiskey separately, blend them together, and age them for a second amount of time all together. Some companies do that. And that's what it means, double aged. It's not aged double the amount of time. It's double the a double method. It says in 1899 they created the now iconic Dewar's White Label, and they say it's the whiskey of choice for highballs in Japan. They're showing a rocks glass, not a highball glass. Flavor notes. Sydney, I'm not too sure about that. Now they're showing a highball glass. Then there's the 12-year age, but that's the new 12-year age. I have the old 12-year, the ancestor. Don't know why they changed it. Maybe they weren't thrilled with it. They wanted to make something better. Is it better? I don't know. Never had it. I love the one I have, the ancestor. I thought was great. I think it's great. That's just this is just a registration for that particular bottle design, which they don't use anymore, but the best looking design. So this is a trademark for some people are Sayers, others are Dewar. Dewar's White Label Scotch. That's a slogan they trademark. Some people are Sayers, others are Dewars. You get it. White Label. First use anywhere, 18. Let's figure this out. They're saying, trademark office is saying that the first time this was used in commerce was November 30th, 1891. They're saying on the website that Dewar's White Label was introduced in 1899. And the trademark is for White Label, not Dewar's. So is Dewar's wrong? Or is it a newer recipe they came up with in 1899 that they improved upon? What I'm thinking, because the trademark office has this information. It's not just like from the air. Okay, who are the 3 owners of the trademark? There's your answer. Jones Sons Limited first took over. United Distillers PLC, 15th new owner. Bacardi Company Limited, the 18th new owner, entered after registration. So they're claiming that this is the 18th company to own it. I guess okay. But I know that these liquor brands and these liquor distilleries, the actual factory, the distillery, they'll change hands all the time. Let's see what Total Wine and More's got it going for, just very quickly. Dewar's. $33.49. So the price has only gone up $1.50 since I bought it, 5-6 years. So that's good. That's a good sign. And they got a regular size bottle you can get for $20.99. And for Scotch, That's a deal. 12-year is $31.99. The 15-year is $45.99. Uh, the 21-year double stone toasted is $139.99. The double 21-year is $70.99. Double cask Mizunara oak $134.99. 18-year blended $78.99. Double 30-year Scotch with 2 Baccarat glasses is $1,599. That's the 37-year. If you buy Dewar's double 37-year, it's $1,599.99, and it's a discount for $100 discount. And here's the bad part about it: it's only a half-size bottle. Oh, yikes! The 27-year blend. Okay, these are half-size bottles. Oh, no. And Aberfeldy. Now, why are they showing Aberfeldy 12-year? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Aberfeldy is Dewar's single malt distillery. That's the one they always used for their single malt, Aberfeldy. So, of course, when Dewar's was bought by Bacardi, they bought the Aberfeldy. They didn't have to, I guess, but they bought the Aberfeldy distillery alongside it. So you can buy the single malt that's used in this on its own. And I know where to find that. It's called Aberfeldy. Or you can buy the blend Dewar's. Okay. Turn on the lamps now. This shouldn't take too long because I don't think I'll get them confused, because I don't think McCormick is going to be up to the level of Dewar's. And I'm not going to sit here and claim that Dewar's is some amazing product, because it's not. But it's nice. You know, it's a good product. People that get on the internet talking about, that's trash, that's garbage. I'd never drink that. I'm too good for that. Okay, all right. You know, what's trash about it? How can you say something like that? I just don't see that. I don't see that as bad. In fact, I see it's very nice. It's same thing. You know, you get these big brands and it's a whipping horse. People are gonna go after it for various reasons. One reason is just because it's big and it's famous. Johnny Walker Red Label. There's always somebody in the crowd gonna bash it. Crown Royal, Jack Daniels, Budweiser beer, Heineken. You know, it's the same old story. Now for wine, I'm not sure, because I don't really follow wine. So, but I'm sure there's brands like that most everybody enjoys, but there's somebody saying, "Oh, I would if I went to a party and all they had was that wine, I wouldn't drink wine. I'd drink water." And you're thinking, I bet you would. You know, they go to a wedding reception, it's all free for them, and they're gonna drink water because they don't like the type of wine they have. You know, this person drinks every day, and they're kind of a heavy drinker. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's not going to happen. Just tell the truth. Say, I wouldn't really want to drink it because it's not my preferred brand, and I think it's trash, honestly, but I would drink it because I want to drink it. Wedding reception is what people might say. Okay, but anyway, the aroma is kind of neutral on this. There is aroma, but it's not much to it. It's just kind of washed out. Not a lot happening. Less happening here. So we have very little aroma here, and in my right hand, none. So which is which on aroma? I'm not sure. I guess the Dewar's probably has a little more going for it. This is definitely theory more than fact. All right, taste time. Cheers. Okay, honey. Now, Dewar's did say honey. Smoke, forget it. You can forget that. Peat, not happening. I've had people tell me, I hate Scotch because that peaty and smokiness just turns my stomach. It's so repellent. And I tell them, I say, well, you know, a lot of Scotch doesn't have anything like that in it. That's some variants of Scotch, but there's many Scotches that be very similar to American whiskey, and this is one of them. Just like Just tastes like regular old whiskey of any country. Just a standard, it could be Japan, Canada, United States, Ireland, Scotland. Just like a standard flavor, across the board flavor. You mean generic. That would be a good way to say it. That would be a good way to describe it. All right. There's honey here. But I said this with McCormick already. I said that McCormick did seem to have a very tiny, and I mean tiny, bit of peat with it, like a compost pile. Now, you say, oh, yikes. But if you think about peat and what peat is formed from, compost pile is not that off of a description. This camera is off. It doesn't want to focus. Or it doesn't want to hold its focus. It's unfocused. It's undisciplined. So they don't taste the same. They're similar though, but they're not exact. There's a slight complexity here, which I think is from the double aging, but I mean, this McCormick could be double aged for all I know. They could age the separate whiskeys on their own and then blend them and age them together. It's not really a rare thing. But they don't all do it like that. Some are all blended immediately and then aged together. There's no separate aging. Okay. Some are aged separately and then immediately blended and then bottled. There's no double. It's just, that's a way to do it. Age them, blend them, bottle. But Dewar's does that double step. Age separately, blend, age again, then bottle. So see. And of course they're filtered. Now, charcoal filtered, they don't say anything about that. It doesn't say anything about non-chill filtering. So they probably use chill filtering. It's an expedited method that was developed by George Dickel Company in Tennessee. They brag on it on their website. Now, these days, chill filtering is considered like gauche, like a no-no. Before the internet, really, no one cared. But then it became like a thing where, oh no, real good whiskey's not chill filtered. That's a shortcut, and good whiskey is they're using other methods like charcoal mellowing. But I don't have an answer on that because I'm not a whiskey scientist or expert, so I wouldn't know. But I know that George Dickel brags about it. They talk about how they used the chill filtering. They pioneered it, and they tout it. Other companies, they don't talk about it because they know that that's like a bad thing these days. Consider bad, so they won't mention it. Now, if they know they'll tout it. Non-chill filter, that'll be a touted thing. Same thing with coloring. No one cared about coloring before. Now it's like a thing. It's like, oh yeah, natural color. Hans G says, good morning, can't sleep, but watching you laughing out loud. I'm sorry about that, Hans, but thanks for watching. I'm glad you're watching. And then, but some people are fixated on filtering. And they'll go back and forth, argue about Jack Daniels is not a bourbon because it's charcoal mellowed. We've talked about this. That has nothing to do with it being a bourbon. And in fact, if you read the regulations for bourbon, the word filtering or the filtering method is never mentioned. So filtering is totally unrelated to the classification of bourbon. What makes a bourbon a bourbon? Okay. In fact, look at any of the types of whiskey. There's nothing, they don't talk about filtering in it. Nothing to do with a regulation. So people will say Jack Daniels is not a bourbon, it's a Tennessee whiskey. No, it's both. It is a bourbon. It's it's produced in Tennessee pursuant to the law of Tennessee, which only was passed a few years ago. Well, if it's a whiskey that's made in Tennessee, then ipso facto, it's a Tennessee whiskey. Now you could have it yay according to the regulations or nay not according to the regulations. But if it's made in Tennessee, it would still be a Tennessee whiskey by virtue of its origin. But one would be legally according to the regs, and the other one would be, you know what I'm saying, unofficially. If you know, you see what I'm saying. But sort of like with bourbon, official bourbon, and you could have an unofficial bourbon. And what would disqualify it is that, for instance, it's made in Canada. Now that wouldn't be because they didn't follow the regs. It would be a geographic disqualification. The process, or I'm sorry, well in Canada it would be the process. The process would be correct, like the Crown Royal Bourbon Mash. I've got a bottle, no longer made. You can't find it anymore. It was used in mostly corn, other ingredients, but mostly corn, other grains. It was aged in new charred oak barrels for many years, not a lot of years, but many, you know, like when I say many, I mean like 5, you know. No, I mean, but they couldn't call it bourbon because it was made in Canada. So they called it bourbon mash, which got them in trouble at later on, not at first. At first, it was fine. The U.S. government said, "Oh yeah, that's fine. You're not claiming it's a bourbon. You say it's a bourbon mash. In other words, a bourbon construction." But then the bourbon companies threw a fit. Oh no! So the U.S. government changed their mind and said, "Oh, we changed our mind. It is illegal." So you got to change the name. So they changed it to Blender's Mash. And then they couldn't really, they just lost interest in promoting it from all the trouble. And then it just faded out last year and they got rid of it, stopped producing it. But they still talk about it on their website as retired products. Okay. You say, now what about Scotch whiskey production? Well, there are certain parameters it has to follow. They have to use 2 types of whiskey: grain whiskey, which is like column still, made from grain, doesn't matter what type, wheat, corn, rice, anything, as long as it's a grain. And those usually have almost no flavor. It's just basically pure ethanol, what you want to call grain spirits, neutral grain spirits. Then you have to blend it with single malt, single all malted barley whiskey. The ratio is not discussed. So it doesn't matter what ratio you use, 80-20, 70-30, that's irrelevant. And they have to be aged at least 3 years in oak barrels. Charred oak, yeah. Uncharred, yeah. New, yeah. Used, yeah. Doesn't matter. American, Scotch, Mitsunara, Japanese, doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. It's like fielder's choice. You can throw to second base or third. Or first. I guess you could go to third. It's up to you. It just has to be oak barrels for at least 3 years. So that's the only regulation for Scotch whiskey. Read it. It has to be grains, all grain, and it has to be 2 types of whiskey: column still, you know what I'm saying, grain, what we call grain alcohol, and single malted barley whiskey. They have to be blended together and aged in oak for at least 3 years. 3. If it's less than 3, it's illegal. What's the top limit? There is no top limit. It can be aged, theoretically forever. All right. Which wouldn't make sense because you wouldn't be able to sell it. Okay. So these 2 are more of the basic. You say they're just following the minimum requirements with these 2. Yeah, that's why that one was $31.99, and that's why this one was $4.99 on a closeout. Like I said, I think it's discontinued. Well, you got to have a minimum. There has to be a bottom, right? And then you go up. So I like to start at the bottom and move up because you would think, you would hope it would improve. I have noticed that it does improve, not as much as you would think it would, but it does. Okay. You say, why don't you start at the top? Well, I don't know where the top is. You see, that's the harder thing. The top, where's the top? What, I'm going to start at $5,000 bottles? See, that's not really what I want to do. I can climb the ladder at my own pace, which you might remark and say, yeah, but your pace is like a snail's pace. You make a snail look fast because you never get anywhere. You just keep like barely climbing. Okay, you got me there, but I'm not in a rush. Are you in a rush? Why are you in a rush? What's the rush? Think about it. Really, what is the rush? Okay. What's the complaint? So I don't have a frenetic approach to drinking. Well, I don't even drink whiskey. I just taste it. I'm telling you that people will say, I know, and when you're off the air, you be drinking whiskey all day. Well, how do you think this bottle would last so many years if I'm drinking it all day? You say, well, you could have video, bottles that you don't bring in the videos that you're sipping on all day. That's true. I could. Now you got me. But I don't. And if I did, I'd admit it. I would just say it. I drink all day, but I like to do whiskey tastings, but beyond that, I never drank it. Just, I'm being honest. Okay. You say, what cocktails do you like? People ask me this from time to time. What cocktails do you like? I'll say, I don't drink cocktails. It's a moot point. I'm not anti-cocktail. I'm not opposed to the concept. I'm not interested in the concept. You see what I'm saying? It's like tennis. I'm not opposed to tennis. I don't watch it. I don't care who wins. I have no investment in it. I'm not interested in it. I couldn't play it. I tried playing it. I was terrible. I was better at volleyball. Volleyball and but I'm trying to say what you call that? Badminton. So yeah. That's the whole point there. I'm not in a rush, and the pacing is super slow, and that's the way it's going to continue. So you might say, well, when you're 90 years old, you barely got anywhere, and you're still creeping out these products, dribbling them. Yeah, yeah, okay. You can see some of the YouTube channels that's in a rush. They act like they're in a rush. They're like wound up, like, hey guys, welcome to YouTube, and wearing all kind of costumes and like, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, join Patreon, pay me. You can order merch. It's like, well, I don't want to order why would I want to walk around wearing a t-shirt for some obscure YouTube channel? I wouldn't wear a t-shirt from a prominent YouTube channel. I'm not gonna wear one from an obscure one. I'm wearing Outlaw because they sent it to me. And that's not a channel, that's a beer company. And I know I'm not paying somebody. They'll say, but you get secret videos. Well, good. I don't need them. I'm going to pay you to watch secret videos? No. That ain't happening. Okay. I think, and I certainly don't know quite right, but I think this is the Dewars, and I think this is the McCormick. Would I pay extra for the Dewars? Generally, no, I wouldn't. Specifically, yeah, I would, because I would want to try it, and I would want to try that. You know what I'm saying? For that utilitarian reason. But generally, but in a general sense, I wouldn't. I'd just go with the McCormick. It may not technically be as high of a score, but when you look at the price consideration, yeah, I'd buy the McCormick. It's $18 for a liter, and the Dewars is $21 for a regular bottle. I'll save the $3 and I'll get 25% more, and I'll be happy with it. It would be a good, what we call a trade-off. It's not a perfect crossover. Most trade-offs aren't, but that's what you do. Most people don't do this in their lives. They don't do trade-offs. They just impulse buy everything. They impulse react to everything. And then they'll tell me, I got such a credit card debt. I'm like, I know, because you're impulsive. You don't evaluate. You just buy. You buy. And now you got to pay. So you talking about credit score all day long. I have a credit score. It has no relevance because I don't have any credit purchase. You know what I'm saying? I don't owe any money. I have no debt. So I just pay my credit cards off every month. I don't use them as a credit theoretic. I use it as a charge card because it's convenient. You know, you ring it up and then at the end of the month, I pay the whole amount. Now, like for that fridge that's squealing for 2 years now. But it could squeal for 20 more years. I'm not going to replace it until it stops working. The freezer is still frozen and the refrigerator is still cold. I could get a repairman. I'm not going to pay. Like the repairman told my father, why would you pay to fix the fridge if the repair is going to cost more than the value of the fridge? He said, think about it. Your fridge is 10 years old. There's no value. It has no value. No one would want it. There's no resale value. It has no worth. He said, he said, I'll fix it. I can fix it. I can fix anything. He said, I'm a repairer. I can fix any refrigerator. He said, but why don't you just go and buy a new one and just put this one by the street and let it go? And my father said, you know what? That's what's going to happen. It's like an old car. You know, people just keep nickel and diming it. You know, it's like this car, but I'm going to keep it going. Well, if that's what you want to do. Every time you go somewhere, you wonder if it's going to keep running, but you could do that. But I'm going to cut my losses and get a new one, brand new, not used. I'm going to get a brand new one. That's me. This is me speaking. This is not you speaking. Okay. So I think this is, but so you say, well, it's all theoretical. I know it is. We're talking about theoretics. All right. So I'm going to say this is the Dewar's and it wins, but only barely. Only barely. I'm sorry, Bacardi. Don't come at me. And don't stop sending me free stuff. Oh, wait. Sorry. Time out. They never sent me anything free. But if y'all want to call me, I'll take it. But, you know, I know all right. Enough of that. Oh, I got it. I don't know if y'all heard, but I got it. So, not a shock. The shock was that I had a little trouble. I thought it was going to be free and clear, that it would just be a snap, you know, like, I'll get this so easy. But no, it doesn't always work out that way. These lower level Scotch whiskeys that people turn their nose up at, ignore. I mean, I get it. I understand. But they can surprise you. They can surprise you. They don't surprise me because I've done so many. I've taste challenged so many. They don't surprise me. I did Highland Mist. Highland Mist, that thing can really battle. It's been on the market since 1956. It doesn't really win. It just battles. It's like McCormick. It never really wins, but it's in the game. Every game, you know, it's like competitive. It's competitive. And Highland Mist is competitive. Sir Malcolm was competitive. Clan McGregor is even like a higher level of competitive. It can actually win sometimes. So yes, I think having an open mind, you know, just approaching it like they're all in the same league, the Scotch blended league, you know. Every team's not going to be as good as the next, but they all have a schedule. They're going to play out the schedule, and if they win, they win. They lose, they lose. But you just approach it that way and see what happens. And I've been approaching that way, and I'm seeing what happens. Has McCormick won any of these 6 challenges? No, has not. Have I gotten it confused anytime? No. But has it competed and done pretty admirably and well? It has. It really has. So now, do I expect some breakdowns coming up? Yeah, because the competition, let's be honest, you see what I've been bringing in. The competition hasn't been like the greatest. When I bring in the Dewar's 12-year, the Ancestor, no longer produced. Yeah, there's no hope. Chivas Regal, 13-year age, rye cast finish. Introduced 6 years ago. No hope. Impossible. Cannot happen. Ballantine's Finest. No way that's going to happen. It won't compete. Really, it won't compete. Johnny Walker Red Label. Well, no, it ain't going to compete. Johnny Walker Double Black. Haha, that's a laugh. Johnny Walker Gold Label Reserve. That's a laugh. That will be a catastrophic. But see, you climbing the ladder, and it's not really fair to this. There's not, that's not their league. They in a smaller conference. That's not an A-level product. So you're starting to bring in top, higher level products. That's not fair. But it is part of it, and it's going to happen. Trying to think. Yeah, I have a lot. So it's going to be a lot. I know it's going to take a while. All right, y'all take care now. Bye-bye. So cheers to McCormick. Good competitive product. Definitely worth the $18 for a liter, and extraordinarily priced $4.99 for a liter. Can't believe that. I say it now. I can't believe it when I'm saying it. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.